understanding of the Spark, of course, it is running on top of the again MapReduce zone only, like taking some input and giving something to the local file system. Only those kind of the conventions we have seen so far in the job submissions. But the reality is completely we are making use of the PySpark orientation. And with respect to that PySpark, we want to make use of the kind of implementation of the applications. So for that purpose, just we are going through this thing. So we are having another component. Actually, this is the Jupyter Hub. I have given one more option for you guys along with the Jupyter Hub. We are having the Databricks also. Probably, let me see. Tomorrow, I'll give some kind of demonstration on Databricks also while working with data frames and all, so that you can have a look on all these kind of tools, Jupyter Notebook and Jupyter Hub, and as well as the Databricks also. So now, just I'm starting a new Jupyter Notebook. So this time, what we are doing is we are performing some kind of imports, okay, related to the Spark session, and then I'll show you what exactly this Spark object and how RDD. Let me give you some implementation perspective of this RDD, and thereafter we'll talk about um, the other understandings of RDD and all. Okay, let me close while these many things not required. Okay, so the very first statement, of course, after starting this thing, just I am making use of PySpark. Okay, just automatically it fills up PySpark.sql. As I said, the Spark session is supporting the Spark context, Hive context, and SQL context. And remember, friends, majority of our functionalities in PySpark are scoped in the PySpark.sql actually. Okay, PySpark.sql. Now I am importing Spark session. Have a look on this. Just I want to work with Spark session. Earlier, we had a discussion. Like if I'm talking about my Spark context, it is pretty clear that it is only related to 1.x. It doesn't mean that in two or three Spark versions, I cannot use Spark context. Yes, you can use, friends. There is no problem. But Spark session cannot be used in the 1.x because that is not implemented in 1.x. From 2.x, 3.x only we got this Spark session. Hope you got the point. Okay. So now what I am doing here is let me show you the configuration of this Spark reference. I am making use of Spark session. Okay, here I am building the application builder, application name, just Spark application one. Okay, first application. I'm getting the existing one or creating if it is not there. Okay, so pretty simple, friends. Just what I am doing here is I'm maintaining this Spark session. I'm building one application with the name of Spark application one. If that is already there, I'm getting that, or else I'm creating a new one, get or create. Now let me show you what is this Spark actually. Have a look on this, guys. So after importing the Spark session, we are trying to create one Spark application in the name of Spark application one. So the entire whatever the implementation we're having, now the entire things are surrounded by this Spark. So at the moment you click on you want to see what is the what is it in the Spark variable or object. have a look on this way. Spark session, of course, this is in memory, and it is also supporting the Spark context. Along with that, I'm having the version master is a local mode. Now you can realize that my master is not ARM or not Spark. It is by default locating to the local mode. I'll show you how do I turn this thing into the ARM. One by one, we'll learn this kind of. And name of the application, this one actually. Okay, name of the application as Spark application one. Now, after this, just what I'm doing here is let me introduce you what is this RDD. Okay, is a kind of variable I have created. Now, everything I can get from the Spark, whatever I want to implement. Now, I'm using the Spark context. Remember, friends, RDD is the low-level construct in the Spark, and Spark context is the very first venture in Spark 1.x. So obviously, RDD majority of the times depending on the Spark context only is a thumb rule kind of thing. I'll specify some of the cases where there may be a possibility of working RDD with Hive context or SQL context. That possibilities are there, but majority of the cases, maybe in the caching, persistence, or in the partitions, all these optimizations, whatever we are having, in all these kind of the cases, Spark context and RDD works together. Okay, these things work together. And what I'm doing here is I want to create some kind of the list. Actually, this is the list provided by the Python, which is a data structure, and this particular list is having some kind of the heterogeneous data. Maybe I can give some other information also. Okay, so just I can make use of the convention, whatever, some sort of experience or whichever. Okay, so this is nothing but a list which is containing some heterogeneous kind of the data, which is represented in the this kind of the brackets. Okay, some kind of brackets we use, and majority of Python data structures support heterogeneous kind of things, but with the help of their representation only. Today, however, I'm going to introduce you some sort of list, dictionary, all those kind of the things. So based on the brackets only, you can easily observe whether we are using list or dictionary or something like that. Okay. In this example, just it is a combination of all the heterogeneous kind of the data. Just we collected all that information, and this parallelize. Okay, what do you mean by this parallelize is just to use the shift tab, friends, actually. So shift tab, then and there it gives the kind of the observation documentation. Actually, the best documentation is this one only, or else there is some Spark. Um, just let me show you Databricks Spark. This already I have given. Uh, so just you can make use of learning of this thing, because this is the best possible platform. Okay, where you can learn your Databricks, learn your Spark, and here, still these guys are also using the PySpark only, friends, majority of the times. Though they only design the Scala and they only design the Spark orientation, but still they prefer PySpark only. Scala projects are also there, but more projects are there in PySpark actually. So then thereafter, excellent other thing is Apache Spark, unified engine. This is also excellent documentation for this. Okay, so no other blog, and of course I just suggest some kind of the books also. I'll share like Hadoop the Definite Guide by Tom White and Spark the Definite Guide by Meti Jaharia. So these are all excellent things. Okay, so libraries we are having. So SQL and data frame. Okay, all these Hive integration, how do I do that? Okay, so many are there, friends. Only you need to spend some time with respect to these orientations. So I'm just conveying to you, okay, which are all the best ventures to learn Spark, all these things. Because Databricks Spark, entire things you can mention with respect to the Spark orientation. Whereas if I'm talking about Apache, it also provides some sort of documentation where it is mainly focused on architectural aspect and how do I handle these integrations, all these kind of the considerations. Okay, so this is how you specify and learn the things in your. In addition to that, on top of our training, and definitely you should practice more. Okay, based on that requirement and availability of the applications. Okay, now you see here, apart from that, the other thing is, other support is this documentation print actually. So like your Jupyter notebook, how it is giving some kind of documentation related to some kind of functions and packages. Here also, just you place the cursor where you want to get the documentation. Just to press Shift plus Tab, then automatically it pops up one instant information. Okay, so distribute a local Python collection to form an RDD. Whatever the collection strength, actually collection means is a kind of list, actually dictionary and range, all some functions are there. Okay, and what it refers is any iterable things, iteration in the sense repeatedly I am populating the variables, or repeatedly I am giving some kind of the data items. That is what you call the collection. Okay, it is a combination of data items. And this particular parallelize is a distribute a local Python collection to form an RDD, which is pretty straightforward. And moreover, I strongly recommend you guys just to practice all these examples also, because these examples really give you some sort of understanding where they provided by experts and researchers and developers and designers of Spark and Python orientation. So it definitely gives you the essence of the learning, or the summary of what you need to have in your skill set. Okay. So if you refer the parallelize is a method where it is expecting the collection. Here I have given some list data, and it is going to distribute this collection to the RDD. What it does is, whatever the data you are mentioning here, it is pushing the data in the form of the RDD. Okay, now you run this. Okay, so just it is not giving any error. Out of curiosity, just I want to print this. Not print, just I want to refer this. What it is saying is parallel collection RDD at parallelize Python RDD. And internally, though I'm using the PySpark, but still Scala support. The JVM based language, Scala support is also required. Now, how do I print that RTD? So just you can make use of the print of RTD. Still, it is not giving. Then there is a possibility of working out this RTD dot count. So how many values are there? Okay, how many values are there? And all these kind of the considerations. Okay, and now RDD dot tab, if you are giving some tons of files are there, friends. Okay, so tons of functions are there. So where you can get all these kind of the aspects. Okay, so maximum finding out, minimum partition by one we'll see, not all, but whichever the required things we can. Okay. Just I am giving this take. It is asking some parameter. Okay, maybe all the eight I want, all the eight members. Only a few members I want, like take off only first four. Only it will give only four things. So likewise, I can make use of this access. And another way of displaying the thing is collection actually, because as per the definition also, what it is saying. So this is saying that, okay, distribute a local Python collection to form the RDD. That is what the reason. Just you can collect the data. Okay, whatever the data items you have mentioned into the parallelize method, just I can make use of that collect. The other way of picking up the data item is take. Okay, just let us venture this. So take the first number elements of the RDD. Okay, if you are specifying 8, it takes first 8. Or if you are specifying 4, it is only giving 4. What do you mean by count actually? It is understood, friends. Like return the number of elements in this RDD. So whichever the numbers I'm having, all those particular number of elements can be collected here. And moreover, the collect method just now we have seen return a list that contains all of the elements in this RDD. Okay, so and now let me see whether I can get the type of this one RDD.collect. Yes, it is a list actually. So what I mean to say is, guys, here RDD.collect, which gives the some sort of the outcome. As I said, the brackets which I use in this way is form the list actually. So RDD.collect, if I'm saying it is projecting all the data items, whatever you have mentioned in the creation. And now we are collecting that particular data. Either take you can use, take is for picking up the selected elements, whereas collect is a method where you can prefer pushing all the elements from the corresponding collection. Okay, so that is the distinction between take and collect. That is your wish. Whether you want to pick up only few elements, then better to go with the take. Whereas you don't want to miss out any element and you want to fetch the elements as a whole, just you can go with the collect method. And this is fine. But other way of doing the things is I want to get the data from the local file system. Okay, I want to get the data from the local file system because it is a quite natural thing, friends. Rather than we create the appropriate data, and it is always expected to pick up the data which is already available in terms of CSV or in terms of text file or whichever the means. So let us start with the local file system. How do I access a file into the RDD that is available in the local file system? So for that, already RDD is there in our example. So we'll start giving the RDD1. Same thing, Spark dot. Now Spark context I am using. So there is one method called text file accessing. So here, what should I do is just if you remember, guys, just we have used some kind of the approach in our earlier programming. So file colon home slash. Actually, this name of the user we should give. So big data mind one slash any local file system data. So that let me connect this whatever the local file system files I'm having. I want to pick up that. Just I'm waiting for this cursor. But this web shell is quite time consuming. It is taking some time. Earlier it was not like that. Friends. Data mind one. Data plan. So ls. So just I want to pick up some data. Maybe employee.txt. Any file I can take. No problem. Any file I can take. Maybe some bigger file also perfectly all right. Maybe email data I'm having. So email I don't have. So no problem with this employee.txt. Let me show you that. Uh, yes, you see here. Here I can mention. It is also suggesting. Okay, employee.txt. Okay, so shift enter. It goes to the next line. Now, if I'm giving RDD1, it won't print anything. Just what it is saying is a map partition. Just I'm getting the text file. And indirectly, it is using the JVM kind of thing, Java specification. Okay. And now, what I want to do, friends, to get the data, just there is an option called collect. Is a method where I can make use of getting the things with the help of the RDD specification. So RDD1 dot collect. Okay. So the collect method, what it does is just it is picking up the data, no matter whether I'm creating with the help of the collection or whether I'm going to pick up the data from the local file system. In either way, just it is pointing to RDD, and once the data is available in the RDD, you can make use of whatever the functionality you want. Okay. So likewise, you can perform the activity. Now I want to pick up the data from Hadoop distributed file system. Okay. For that purpose, I am creating one more same process, spark context dot text file of. This time, I want to pick up the data from Hadoop distributed file system. So clear the screen and Hadoop fs-ls. Maybe I'm having some data, stock one data is there, friend. Is a reasonably big file. So just what I want to do is I want to pick up the data, stock one. So just I'm mentioning stock one. Okay. So shift enter. Okay. So just I'm making use of this thing. Now RDD2 dot select. Now you see. So just it is opening a text area kind of thing. Whatever the stock market data I'm having, just all the data immediately, just like that, it is printed. Okay, so this is how you can specify your access mechanism with respect to stock. Now, one more option, friends. What I'm saying here in terms of specification is RDD3, spark context dot uh, text file of, maybe I'm giving some file which is not really available in HDFS, example underscore HDFS. It's not showing any error if you observe. That's what I said. Is a lazy evaluator. Okay, so but when you want to give this at the time also, it has not given any error, but collect is the action actually. That time only it is giving the error. Okay, that time only it is giving the error because it is not able to find out the appropriate. Okay, so whatever the functionality, it is saying input path does not exist. Clearly, it is mentioning. Okay, the error. So now, if you refer, friends, why it is not revealing that particular error at the time of storing the data or perform? It is not doing anything, guys. That's what I said. This is a lazy evaluation. Okay, so lazy evaluation in the sense, though you are mentioning some sort of text file picking up, and though you are trying to refer that particular RDD3, it is not triggering anything, it is not performing anything, to be frank. It's not doing anything. Just like that, it is pointing to that thing, and whenever there is a requirement, then only it is going to pick up the data. So if you are not getting any error, you feel that okay, maybe Spark is pushing this data into RDD3, and then whenever I am asking that collector or show, just it is fetching from that particular space. No, friends, no, it's not like that exactly. What it does is just it is not doing anything initially until the transformations are into the picture. Once that transformation is over, at that time, even some error is there, it won't mind because it is as it is not executing, it is not having any idea about whether that is a successful statement or a failure statement. Okay, so at the moment you are performing some kind of the action, then only it refers to the transformation and it realizes that okay, the data is not there. Actually, this collect should not verify the path. It should get the content from that. But you can easily grasp that whenever I am performing some action, the relevant transformation in the conceptual session also we have seen like whenever there is a action, the corresponding transformations are referred, and accordingly those transformations are executed, and then you can perform the activity. Okay, so I'm keeping this example like this only, friends, so that while preparing, you can also have a look on that how this lazy evaluation can be observed. Okay. Now, what is my RDD2? RDD2 just now we have created our stock market data. Now I want to push some of the content with this. This particular RDD collect, which gives that the information of whatever the stock markets were having. Now, there are certain other methods also, guys. So earlier the first method, okay, what we have seen is actually this method I'm talking about. So this is let me insert. Okay, this I want. This thing is having some certain operations friends code markdown. Markdown is some common type. It is not going to execute that line. Creation of RDD with collection with Python collection. Maybe I have taken list as an example. This is the first way of creating RDD method one. And next thing is here I'm creating RDD with local file system. So this is RDD creation with LFS data loading. Now in the similar grounds, just to have create same thing, but only the with the HDFS. Otherwise, the command and all the things are common, except that you need not mention any path. Directly, you can mention the name. This is not exactly the second thing only. RDD creation with the HDFS file. Okay. Now we are seeing the third method, friends. Actually, okay. The third method is like this. Maybe I'm having some data with me, and this data is range of 10. Okay, range of 10 in the sense if I'm printing this particular data, just it is giving that content actually. So whatever the values I'm having now, by using this data, I am creating the RDD. So RDD4 I am creating a same method spark context dot parallelize remains same parallelize and according to the definition of the parallelize I should give the collection. Actually this is also a collection friends. Actually collection may not be always listed, it may be some numbers, okay, whatever the things. What I'm doing here is just I'm sending this collection to my parallelize method, and this parallelize method, as said earlier, it is expecting some collection and it is distributing the appropriate collection to the RDD. So now if you run this and if you perform RDD4 dot collect, okay, so just you can see that range function, what it does is just it is going to create some range of numbers. Okay, returns an object, produces a sequence of integers from start inclusive and stop exclusive. So here, starting value, actually you can understand like this: start 0, stop 9. It won't include 10 actually, excludes. So here the range of 0 comma 10, in between 0 and 10, just we are fetching the data items. Now, same old procedure we are having, creation of this RDD with some sort of the collection with range function. Now we can able to see that. So this is the third option, where you can create your RDD. So there are multiple options, friends. The third option is RDD creation with range function. Okay, so this is somewhat creating of RDD with respect to range. Now, some other options are also there, friends. Like how do I pick up this data? May not be always collect, but some other possibilities are there. Like as I said, RDD 4 dot take 4. If I am giving only, it is picking up 4 elements. Programmatically, how do I do that? Is for loop generally maybe from C, CPP, Java, everywhere for loop is common. I am getting this RDD4 dot. Okay, I'm fetching all the data items. 10 all the 10 elements, and I want to print the type. Okay, you need not perform all these things, friends. But only the thing is just I am showing the possibilities because the programmer need to know whether that is optimized one or normal one. We should have all the things in our hand. Okay, we don't know whether which one is preferable at that time, and moreover, not every time we are looking for the optimization. The programmer capability involves in solving the errors. That is the first thing. A good programmer. Okay, a good programmer is who can see the error and who can able to solve the error. Is a good programmer. Second thing is there is no rule that the programmer should write the code in the optimized way. At least you should know two to three techniques. How do I write this particular logic so that it's not like we are limiting ourselves to the optimizations, but rather you can say I'm having these many constructs and these many ideas in my mind, so that according to the requirement I can pick up the corresponding data. So in that way, one can easily refer the usage of what exactly the nature and how do I manage the convention. Okay. Now, one more option I want to show. Just this thing I am naming as Spark RDD 1 to 11. So just I will be sharing this thing so you can practice, friends. It's taking some time. Let it be. And now I'm opening one more thing. I said that now some other option is there. Okay, this is not connected, no problem. It is not connected. Okay. DD1. Sometimes it is. Okay, no problem. Yeah, what I will do is just let me create one more thing. For the creation also, it is not allowing. Refresh. Yes. This is also lazy, friends. Hmm. Sometimes the disconnect would be there with the cluster so that it is not allowing us. Yeah, now I can save this. Done. So now the second option I want to give to you before breaking. Just this observe from, as I said, basic thing is from PySpark. Many functionalities are there in PySpark only. And as of now, your first statement is Spark session. Okay, Spark session. Now let us have a look on this way. I'm using some other parameters rather than just mentioning. In the first example, if you go back and see, I directly mentioned Spark session dot builder dot app name get or create, and this is giving some information for us. You are using Spark session. You are making use of the Spark context like that. It is mentioned. Let me pick this. Okay, so this thing you can observe, and this is helping us to observe what exactly the reference of the Spark. Whereas the other way around, the second example I'm taking is have a look on this, guys. Just I'm calling this Spark session, and there is a continuation means I want to specify here only continuation dot builder. Okay, again slash multiple parameters I want to show now here. I want to refer my master. Which master I want to refer? And okay, so I can run my code on top of this ARN also. Now you can give the app name and RDD to like that I'm giving some name, and thereafter after the app name this remains same, get or create. The get or create remains same. Now for the sake of understanding, what I want to do is I want to print so some information to the users. Spark object. Okay, just I want to show some info. Spark object created. Okay, and then I want to pick up the information also. Print. Partitions is very good technique, friends. By default, whether you are using or not using, whether you are observing or not observing, by default, Spark is having some partition. Like however, Hadoop is having the block, all those things. Na? Like the Spark is also having some sort of partitions. What it does is just I am mentioning number of partitions. Just you can make use of this, and I am specifying str. So Spark dot be with me guys, conf dot get off. Just there is a path actually here. Spark dot uh, SQL spark dot SQL dot. Just I'm having some shuffle and then partitions. Okay, so here shuffling is a process. And actually, if you are referencing the transformations, probably tomorrow we are going to talk about all our discussion is related to transformations and as well as the actions. Okay, so this shuffle, what it does is shuffling is a most expensive operation, friends, in Spark actually, because you know this what it does is while working with some sort of applications. Some of the applications are not requiring any shuffling. Then and there, the application is going to run and pick the data. But sometimes, you know, it has to pick the data from some other partition, and such kind of shuffling should happen. Okay. So at this moment, what we are doing is we want to get by default how many partitions are there in our application. Okay. So now just we are running this thing. Now you see it is taking some time compared with the earlier one. Just earlier one, at the moment I run, immediately it got. Now as it is connecting to app, that to first time through the Jupyter notebook, so it is taking some time. Maybe some other some other configuration settings might be there. That's what it is taking some time. So now you observe it here. So the number of partitions, okay, number of partitions 200. And now if you are printing this Spark object, now you see the distinction. So both the ways, in the first example, I am having the Spark session in memory Spark context. Here also, same thing, there is no differentiation. Version, and in case of our master, we are having the local thing. Whereas here, we are having the master's add. Okay, so this way, just either whether you are okay with your local kind of the resources, you can go ahead and handle that conversion. But whereas sometimes you know there is a chance of submitting your job on top of the ARN also. So in that case, just you need to give these many parameters. Whereas in our first example, simple, just we have given builder, app name, get or create. Whereas in the second example, apart from these builder, app name, get or create, one more option we added, that is the master actually. So that master we have given that add. This is one convention. So where I can make use of this Spark session and all. Now let me give you one more option, friends. So just a minute. I want to get this information, paste it. This time, rather than add, I want to make use Spark actually. That we have seen a local Spark or something. Just let us run this. Here also it is running, no problem. I'm making use of this as a local. Okay, in all the ways, your partition is 200. Okay, number of partitions it is showing. Uh, Now, one more thing. Every time Spark session it is okay. However, we are using everywhere. But why this Spark context is also coming into the picture? Okay, the rule is pretty simple. Have a look on this guys. Spark dot Spark context. Just if I want to print this. Okay, this is also giving us This is a Spark context, whereas in the earlier thing, it is a Spark session in memory along with the Spark context. And it is not having the Spark session. It is only having the Spark context. The remaining things same as usual. Okay, whatever the functionality I'm having, that remains same. There is no distinction. And moreover, maybe I'm having some doubt here. So I'm having some stock market data. If you see this thing, RDD3 now, okay, RDD2. Let me go back to this convention. My RDD2 dot collect, just to refer that. Okay, I'm having this data with me. Now let me see, because I have not used any convention here. By default, this Spark session I have built. I have not mentioned any master like ARN or whatever the thing. So what I'm trying to do here is, let me pick up this RDD2 dot. Okay, so get number of partitions. Okay, that is the difference, friends, actually. So if you want to raise your partitions in a heavy manner and you want to work with heavy data items, refer to master actually. Because otherwise what happens is it is by default in the standalone mode or local mode it is going to execute. So it is giving only two partitions. Whereas if you are making use of this master and it is giving us some sort of partitions as 200. Okay, these kind of items, okay, very much helpful to us. If you are working with heavy data loads, better to go with the number of partitions as more. Partition is nothing but storage. And if you need heavy data processing, obviously those things can be parallelized with the number of partitions. Otherwise, you are okay with two partitions. Every time it is taking those two partitions into memory and it is going to perform the activity. So that's all, guys. With this, we can stop. So this is RDD2 with master usage. 11th session. Okay, these things I'll be posting to you guys so that you can practice and you can follow up along with me. Maybe just to give a try whether the Databricks is supporting or not, and then you can prefer. Even in Databricks, you need not import this thing directly. You can from Spark onwards you can start. Okay, from Spark onwards you can start and you can make use of creation of the collections like how we have done the collection creation and with the range, everything works. Everything works. We have to see because HDFS won't be connected with that. No? File loading maybe explicitly we have to load that file and there is some other option you need to follow up. Okay, that's all, guys. Thank you very much. And if you're having any doubt, please let me know through the chat window. Otherwise, however, we are doing that key takeaways in the next session. Okay, so before the break, we have done, however, so in a minute, we will do that, no problem. So, no hurry. Just what we'll do is let us finish the session with the key takeaways. So, this, okay, just give me this digital pen. Okay. So, key takeaways. After the break, we started with RDD creation. So that we need from PySpark dot SQL import Spark session. And from the Spark session, we have created the Spark reference actual. This is the reference. And thereafter, the second thing is uh, within the RDD creation with list, actually collection, we have created the RDD, and with range function, we have created the RDD. Third one, by providing the LFS or HDFS file, I can create the RDD. And the second thing is usage of master actual usage of master in the Spark reference. Okay, this thing we have seen. Finally, in normal RDD, partition size is 2. In master, okay, RDD, partitions size is 200. Okay. The coming session, what we'll do is the next session, just we'll try to cover some more RDD operations. And I will be introducing you the concept of the data frames, which is pretty important, and some of the transformations and some of the actions. And meantime, I will give you a glance of that Python essentials. Okay, so first we'll start with RDD understanding and data frame and transformations and action, and then we'll start with understanding of the Python essentials, which are strictly related to our Spark. Okay, and as I said, if you want to get in-depth coverage of the Python, of course, the recorded sessions were there from the academy. I will be sharing that, no problem. Okay, so that you can get it. That's all, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. I have overboarded a little. Okay, so thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
See
you,
you
sir.
back in
Thank you
the
so